Welcome to another show. Today we're going to look at top 10 underrated movies from the early 2000s. The early 2000s were a golden era for cinema, marked by groundbreaking films that pushed the boundaries of storytelling and visual effects. Amidst the blockbuster hits, there were several underground gems that didn't receive the recognition they deserved. Here are 10 underrated movies from the early 2000s that are worth rediscovering.
Do you know anything about time travel?
At number 10 is Donnie Darko.
What was his name?
Donnie Darko.
Directed by Richard Kelly with Jake Gyllenhaal, Mary McDonnell, and Maggie Gyllenhaal. And the feature film debut of Seth Rogen. Jake Gyllenhaal stars as the troubled teenager Donnie Darko, who is plagued by a vision of a sinister figure in a rabbit's costume. This film blends elements of science fiction, psychological thriller, and teen drama, creating a unique and thought-provoking narrative. It was voted number 9 in Film 4's 50 Films to See Before You Die. In the movie theater scene, Richard Kelly originally intended to have Donnie and Gretchen going to see Chud from 1984. However, there were problems with finding out who owned the rights to the movie. Finally, Sam Raimi came to the rescue by allowing Kelly to use and distort footage from The Evil Dead, free of charge. This scene was filmed at the Arrow Theater at 1328 Montana Avenue, Santa Monica, California. The Arrow closed in 2003, but reopened in early 2005. During conversations about sex with his therapist, the script had Donnie's fantasies be about Alyssa Milano, and this had to be changed to Christina Applegate due to legal reasons.
Just closing up, fellas. Coffee. I'm sorry, we're closed.
Oh, I know that. I do know that.
The next film on the list is A History of Violence.
They were gonna kill us. You saved our lives.
Hello, my hero.
Tom Stahl is a family man with long-standing ties to this community.
Directed by David Cronenberg with Viggo Mortensen, Mario Bello, and Ed Harris. A mild-mannered man becomes a local hero through an act of violence, which sets off repercussions that will shake his family to its very core. This film was ranked at number 59 in BBC's The 21st Century's 100 Greatest Films list, also the best film of 2005 in a Village Voice poll. The plot bears strong similarities to Nobody Ever Quits, the March 18, 1955 episode of the long-running radio series Suspense. A normal citizen turns out to be a man formerly named Joey who abandoned his life in an East Coast mob by fleeing west, taking on a new identity, running a small business and starting a family. When his mob associates discover him by chance and start harassing him, he denies his old identity, and the mob boss demands to meet him and tries to kill him. The mobsters were originally supposed to be Italian-Americans, but after the casting of Ed Harris and William Hurt, David Cronenberg decided to change the mob to Irish-Americans, giving Viggo's character the Irish surname Cusack. He felt that Mortensen, Harris, and Hurt wouldn't make convincing Italian-Americans. Now, Mortensen did play an Italian-American in Green Book from 2018, some 13 years later.
I was wondering if you'd made any decision regarding the assistant manager's position.
It's between Stu and yourself.
Stu Rubin, the new guy?
Stu's someone who's not afraid to make the tough decision.
The next film on the list, Drag Me to Hell.
I'm perfectly capable of making the tough decisions.
I'll let you know as soon as I decide, okay?
It was directed by Sam Raimi, starring Alison Lohman, Ruth Livier, and Justin Long. A loan officer who evicts an old woman from her home finds herself the recipient of a supernatural curse. Desperate, she turns to a seer to try to save her soul, while evil forces work to push her to a breaking point. The Drag Me to Hell idea actually comes from a couple of different folklore stories. The Furies, or Iones, were figures of vengeance in Greek mythology. When summoned by people who were wronged or victimized in some way, they would wreak vengeance on the wrongdoer for a period of time until they killed themselves, and then torture and terrorize them in the underworld. The Drag Me to Hell idea also comes from Krampus, a pre-Christian figure in Germany and Austria who accompanies St. Nicholas on the eve of December 6th, St. Nicholas Day. While St. Nicholas would reward good children with gifts, Krampus would drag wicked children to the underworld. Both of these help inform the vengeful Lamia character in the movie. Sam Raimi's longtime friend and collaborator Bruce Campbell turned down a role because of his commitments to filming Burn Notice. This is the fourth Raimi film in which Campbell does not appear, after A Simple Plan, For Love of the Game, and The Gift. He did film a cameo for The Quick and the Dead, but the scene was deleted.
Total providence. I am walking home. I find myself on the street I am rarely on, and look what I obtained for a mere $50.
Next film on the list, A Scanner Darkly, directed by Richard Linklater with Keanu Reeves, Winona Ryder, and Robert Downey Jr. Adapted from Philip K. Dick's novel, this rotoscope animated film, it delves into themes of identity, surveillance, and addiction in a near-future society.
You know, this bike looks a lot like the bike that this girl lives across the street from me had that got ripped off about a month ago.
Based on Philip K. Dick's personal drug experience, Terry Gilliam originally wanted to make a motion picture version of the novel in the early 1990s. Richard Linklater intended to film the Philip K. Dick novel, but decided to film Dick's A Scanner Darkly instead, after Wiley Wiggins, who played the main character in Walking Life, suggested it to him. The title of the film is an appropriation of 1 Corinthians 13:12, which reads, in part, "For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know even as I'm known." Robert Downey Jr. wrote most of his lines down on Post-it notes and scattered them around the set so he could read off of them while filming a scene. The rotoscoping team simply animated over the notes to remove them from the film during post-production.
Emily said words I didn't know. Tell me if they catch.
Brick? No.
Tug?
Tug might be a drink, like milk and vodka.
Next film on our list is Brick.
Pin? You know the Kingpin.
Dope runner, right?
Big time. What are you gonna do?
She asked for my help. I just want to know she's okay.
So what's first?
I'm gonna start shaking things up.
It was directed by Ryan Johnson with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Lucas Haas, and Emily DeRaven. This neo-noir mystery set in a high school stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt as a student detective investigating his ex-girlfriend's disappearance. The film's unique blend of hard-boiled detective tropes and teenage drama makes it an intriguing watch. Johnson cited spaghetti westerns and Cowboy Bebop as influences on his visualization of the movie. The caped costume that Lucas Haas wears throughout the movie is based upon the same outfit that Jonathan Frid wore in the cult 60s TV classic Dark Shadows. Johnson later directed Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Noah Segan in Looper. In both movies, Gordon-Levitt and Segan played bitter rivals under the same establishment. In Brick, they are students at the same school, and in Looper, they are assassins working under the same crime syndicate.
They say whoever drinks of its sap will live forever.
Next film on the list is The Fountain, directed by Darren Aronofsky, starring Hugh Jackman, Sean Patrick Thomas, and Rachel Weisz in this ambitious film that spans 3 different timelines.
Take this ring. It is a symbol of your pledge to find the elixir of immortality. You shall wear it when you find Eden.
Exploring themes of love, mortality, and the search for eternal life. Its complex narrative and stunning visuals make it a deeply emotional experience. Of the 70 extras cast as Mayan warriors, 20 were actually Mayans flown in from Guatemala. Fernando Hernandez, who played the Lord of Xibalba, was the only one who could speak English. Before shooting at the Mayan pyramid, the Mayan actors blessed the set. Hugh Jackman assumed a different posture for each persona. As Thomas the Conquistador, Jackman was upright and forward-leaning to evoke an unstoppable nature. As the scientist, Jackman hunched his back to represent carrying a burden. As the space traveler, Jackman practiced Zen yoga postures to represent the journey into acceptance or surrender. Darren Aronofsky started on the story in 1999 when he turned 30 years old and his parents were diagnosed with cancer. He began reflecting on human mortality. That was a really heavy-duty emotional time. Turning 30 marks when your 20s are over and you could start considering, one of these days I'm actually going to die. Now his parents overcame cancer and he began to focus on the concept of a young man saving a loved one from a life-threatening disease. According to Aronofsky, the film is inspired by the philosophical sci-fi themes in 2001: A Space Odyssey, The Matrix, Latin American writer Eduardo Galeano's fantasy story Memories of Fire, and the epic biography fairy tale Once Upon a Time in America.
Well, in reality, the pros like about 5 feet of separation.
5 feet, huh?
Yeah, that's so the schmuck doesn't take the gun back and make it eat it.
Next film on the list is Kiss Kiss Bang Bang from 2005. It was directed by Shane Black and starred Robert Downey Jr., Val Kilmer, and Michelle Monaghan. This dark comedy stars Robert Downey Jr. as a petty thief turned actor who gets embroiled in a murder mystery. The film's witty dialogue, clever plot twists, and strong performances make it a highly entertaining yet underrated gem. Robert Downey Jr. considered his role as Harry Lockhart to be his calling card to playing Tony Stark Iron Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. While preparing to make Iron Man, Downey Jr.'s performance inspired director Jon Favreau to cast him in the title role. Shane Black read several stories by Raymond Chandler when writing this script. As a result, the story is divided into chapters, and the chapter titles come from Chandler's works. Specifically, Trouble is My Business, The Lady in the Lake, The Little Sister, The Simple Art of Murder, and Epilogue, Farewell, My Lovely.
The world will look up and shout, "Save us." And I'll whisper, "No."
Next film on the list is Watchmen. Its director was Zack Snyder, starring Jackie Earle Haley, Patrick Wilson, and Carla Gugino. In a version of 1985 where superheroes exist, the murder of a colleague sends active vigilante Rorschach on the trail of a conspiracy that will change the course of history. Snyder found casting for the comedian to be a difficult process, as the character is gruff and grizzled. Most of the actors he met felt that they were too well-groomed. Jeffrey Dean Morgan was very grumpy during this meeting with Snyder, something that appealed to him a great deal, and he was cast. The first trailer for the film, which premiered with The Dark Knight in 2008, sparked so much interest that it sent the graphic novel back into the bestseller list. Barnes & Noble bookstores reported selling out of the novel nationwide. Next film on the list is 2000's In the Mood for Love, directed by Wong Kar-wai. This Hong Kong romantic drama stars Tony Leung and Maggie Cheung as neighbors who develop an intimate bond after suspecting their spouses of infidelity. The film's lush visuals, evocative score, and nuanced performances make it a masterpiece. Wong found the English title for the film while listening to a song from a Brian Ferry CD with a similar title, I'm in the Mood for Love, a cover of a 1935 song written by Jimmy McHugh and Dorothy Fields. Originally performed by Francis Langfords, Wong used the title and the song in an early Hong Kong trailer of the film, and it was also used in the U.S. trailer of the movie. Filming was shifted from Beijing to Macau after Chinese authorities demanded to see the completed script. Wong never used scripts. The original idea and inspiration for the film stemmed from a Japanese short story concerning two characters who often walk by each other in a stairwell, but do not converse. In that story, the characters end up ending their own lives.
Owner instructed Gertie to
Listen to me. I wasn't supposed to find you.
And the final film on our list is 2009's Moon, directed by Duncan Jones and starring Sam Rockwell, Kevin Spacey, and Dominique McElligott. Rockwell delivers a powerful performance as an astronaut nearing the end of his 3-year stint on a lunar base. The film's exploration of isolation, identity, and corporate ethics is both thought-provoking and haunting. These 10 films, though not widely celebrated in their time, offer rich storytelling, unique perspectives, and unforgettable performances. They serve as reminders of the creative potential of cinema, waiting to be discovered and appreciated by new audiences. So the next time you're looking for a movie to watch, consider giving one of these underrated gems a chance. And that was our show for today. What did you think? Which one of these films was your favorite underrated movie? Which underrated movies from that era did we miss? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And while you're at it, I'd be honored if you subscribe to my channel. Click the little bell to stay informed. Share this video, as that might help me grow as well. And check out the Carl Vincent Vampire Hunter franchise also in the comments section. Until next time, this is Kevin Gibbons saying, live long and prosper. May the force be with you, and keep reaching for the stars.